Hi everyone, my name is Josh Engelbrecht. I'm CEO and founder of Toolbelt. Here today I have the Cecilia with Inside and Out Creations. So what we're going to do, we're going to hear Cecilia's story and go from there. So Cecilia, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Josh.
I appreciate it. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and then, your business Inside and Out Creations.
Sure. Cecilia, I grew up in Texas and moved up to Portland about 4 years ago where I had a job working for a paint manufacturer. I'm sure some of you have heard of Sherwin-Williams. I was an outside rep for them, and that's kind of how I got introduced to the industry. While I got out here, I got a little bit more involved in it, so I started networking a lot, and then I actually started going back to school for interior design, and then I went off to work for a general contractor managing their painting division, and then I decided it was time to do it for myself.
Gotcha. So you came from, so where in Texas are you from?
I am from Baytown, Texas. It's near Houston, and I went to Texas Tech University, and then I lived in Galveston Island.
Okay, Red Raider?
Yeah, Red Raider.
Right.
What's up? But no shooting. Just before I came up here, I was in Galveston.
Gotcha. So what led you to get into the painting industry in general? You said you worked with Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah. So when I was looking for jobs coming out of college, I did a mock interview actually with a Sherwin-Williams district manager of the Lubbock area. And I wasn't really interested in the company. I just wanted the mock interview because I needed practice because I wanted to work for somebody else, not a paint company. But this guy was really enthusiastic about the company. He was really excited, and even though I didn't really have my interview for him that day, at the end of the day I left wondering what's this company about. And so I started doing some research, and then I decided, wow, I actually really want to work for them. So I got a job working for them down in Houston area. Starting in their management training program. So that you're running the store, and so the normal track that you take is to manager, but I got promoted to outside rep. So I went from being inside of stores to being out in the field with contractors every day, and that was really exciting for me. That was the most exciting part of my job, was that I got to be on a different job site, 8 times a day, meeting different contractors and helping them find products that were going to help their customers with the solutions that they needed.
Great. So what contractor specifically did you work with out in the field? Because I know Sherwin-Williams is segmented. I believe they have builders, repainters.
Yeah, so they have different, so they try to target it so that they're really catering to their type of customers. So my kind was residential. So my main customer base was residential contractors working in houses. Some of them did commercial, so I did have some commercial exposure, even for large projects like the Portland building. But for the most part, I was working, with contractors working on small houses. And that's what interested me in wanting to learn more of the industry. That's why I started going to school, and that's why I changed my career and went to go work for a general contractor, because I wanted to know more than just paint. Gotcha.
So you first you had no experience in the industry, then you go start working for Sherwin-Williams. You skip the step of being a store manager. You go become an outside sales rep. Really kind of get your feet on the ground, with contractors, and you decide to make the switch. What perspective was different when you made that switch that you didn't expect?
Well, when I was working at Sherwin-Williams, my job was to know products and then to try to sell them.
Right.
I wasn't applying them, I wasn't working with them directly, I was just working with people that were using them. So I was telling them the right tools and the tools that they needed. But when I moved sides, I suddenly became the person managing the applicators. So I was managing a few paint crews and subcontract crews, not just painters, but it became different because suddenly I was working with the material, and so it was just a different perspective. You're applying it, not selling it.
Yeah.
So we were selling it in a different way, but I found that a lot of customers actually really felt comfortable and sometimes hired that company because of that experience that I had. I wasn't just selling them paint, I was explaining to them why we were using a certain paint and or why we wouldn't use something different. So I knew more about the products, and that really gave people confidence in knowing that I'm not just hiring a painter that can paint, I'm also hiring somebody that knows what they're applying.
Right. So how do you feel that your product knowledge helped you become a better painting contractor?
In a lot of ways, sometimes I approach jobs before I have to figure out what a solution is. I already know it because I experienced it working with 600 other contractors who sometimes have that problem. So I've seen their problems, and for the most part, I can instantly tell, when something might happen. So having that product knowledge helps me avoid certain mistakes that some people might make. I think I also got exposed to a lot of vendors, some things that sometimes don't get used at different stores here, but because I often flew to Florida for their large vendor shows exclusively for Sherwin-Williams, I sometimes got exposed to different tools that other contractors maybe aren't.
Right. Savvy.
They don't know that
didn't
they
even
know
know it
about.
existed.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple things. Like actually, there was a project that I went to go do an estimate for yesterday, and it was just a house. We were doing the living room, the kitchen, some ceilings, and then the bathroom. And at the very end of the day, or at the end of our conversation, I asked the homeowner if he had a question, and his only concern was, are you going to paint behind the toilet? And I had a solution for him right away. I told him it was the paint behind. It's this little tool that's long, and it's really skinny, and you dip it, you just pat it down, and then you can paint behind the toilet.
Right.
So that you don't have to have that brown square, that unpainted.
Yeah, that we all have seen so much, right?
Yeah, like the 6 layers of paint behind the toilet. Yeah, so that was his only concern, and I instantly had a solution for him.
Gotcha.
And I sent him his estimate yesterday, so I'll find out if that wins me the job. But if I do get the job, I really think it's because of that little one bit of confidence that I gave him.
Got it. So, how is it like being a female contractor in a heavily male-dominated industry? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so that part can be really. Sometimes I use it for my advantage, and sometimes it's like, oh God. But I think having had the experience of working directly with contractors for my first job, just let me talk to them in a different kind of way. So I'm really one of them. I had to entertain, and so I know how they think, and I know. So I'm not just a woman that came into the industry. I'm a woman that grew within the industry.
Right.
So, and I'm kind of a tomboy a lot.
So yeah, and for those of you who can't see, I mean, she's got like paint all over her hands. She just came from a job site right before this interview. So.
Yeah, I came from a job site, so we have the uniforms, and everybody wears white pants, and everybody has a different colored T-shirt.
Painter whites, right?
Painter whites, but everybody wears a safety color because that's a requirement now. So we have orange, safety green, safety yellow, and I'm safety hot pink, of course. But currently, I'm wearing a very flowery dress. For those of you who can't see, but being in the industry as a woman, I think with other guys, sometimes they're just like, oh, whatever, she's a girl, she's no, she's
right.
Or sometimes it's like, cool, look at her go. But with the homeowners, I really think that's where it makes a difference, and I'm really finding that a lot of, at least the customers that I've gotten up to this point, really like the fact that it's a woman-run business, and that we have this special little touch.
Right.
So
you're way more organized.
We're way more organized.
Way more organized.
But I mean, when I'm talking to the homeowner, I'm not just asking them about their walls. I'm also asking them about their day, and just like those little things. I'm making them feel confident that we're going to take care of their home.
Right.
And I think that they also like that a woman's making sure that all of that's happening, because oftentimes the person that I'm dealing with is a woman, and sometimes what they'll tell me is that when they work with any other contractor, regardless of whether they're a painter or not, that they sometimes feel belittled when they ask questions, and because they get an answer in the kind of way that says like, you don't know what you're talking about, lady. Versus for me, I explain it to them.
You're like, oh no, here's why this is.
Yeah, so I really take my time to explain to them why we do certain things or why things are issues, even if they have things like dry rot or just basic construction things. I can explain to them certain things. But I explain to them in a way that they don't feel belittled. Instead, I'm educating them, where sometimes they say that guys tend to talk to them in a different way that they don't.
Right.
Yeah, but with that, I think some guys could just maybe take a lesson in how to approach ladies as well, because it's not that they mean that, they just don't know how.
Right.
And
no, it's definitely systemic across the culture of being a contractor. It's kind of the good old boys club, right? I've kind of experienced that firsthand, just not being like Caucasian male in Southwest Washington, right? So, but no, truthfully, so what tidbit of advice would you give for, you know, like females trying to break into this industry?
Just do it, and then do it the way you want. For me, I'm trying to stand out, not blend in.
Right.
So,
which ties into inside out creation. So why don't you kind of share, like, when did you decide to make the jump, right? And then, you know, how'd you get the name? These are flashy cards. You're a flashy gal. Like, just talk to me about inside out.
yeah, so I decided to make the jump in May. So in May, I decided to make the switch and just start the business. We didn't really start painting until July though. So initially I was doing estimating for other commercial contractors, but I really wanted it to say that this is something that's different and eclectic. But I also I didn't want to limit in what it could be, because I'm not always just going to be a painting contractor. That's just what I am right now.
Right.
I'm going to be an international something one day, but that'll come. And inside out creations for me, it implies we do interior and exterior, but it also implies that it's different. Inside out, upside down, just it's a little bit different. And in creations, it could be anything. And then this is a temporary logo that I have, but for those of you who can't see, it's a bunch of flowers and it's metallic. So it's very girly. And then my title isn't owner or CEO or anything like that, because I'm the owner of, you know, what? Who? I'm the lady in charge. And so I'm really trying to build an image around the business and the lady in charge. So actually, I'm not wearing it now, but I usually wear a ladybug pin that I have every day. Okay. And so that's the lady. So when I'm wearing that ladybug, I'm not Cecilia, I'm the lady in charge.
That's funny. That's
like
really funny.
Tacky little something I like doing.
Okay, cool. So because, you know, it's really kind of flashy to be a business owner now and say, you know, society, you hear a lot about it. What challenges did you start facing? Yeah, again, your progression started off not being in this industry, outside sales rep for a very large manufacturer, Sherwin-Williams, then doing commercial bidding for a contractor, then you make the splash to go out on your own. Like, again, what was kind of the big challenge jumping out on your own?
Well, I guess I'm still doing it because I've only been in business for about 5 months.
Right.
So it's still, every day's still a challenge, but it's really fun. I think the biggest challenge so far has been that I'm having to wear more hats than I had anticipated. I didn't think I was going to be wearing the painter hat as long as I'm wearing it, which is great. I mean, I really like it because I get to be more hands-on and I'm learning a lot. But I'd say that part where I have one employee, so I have to make sure that he has work.
Right.
So my priorities have changed since I inherited him or he started working for me. My priorities have really changed to him. And so right now the biggest challenge is, does he have work? Is next week booked up for him? Because if he's not working, inside out creations isn't growing. Right. So I don't want to be painting, I help him. I clean up, I prep his tools, I roll out the walls, he does all the trimming, he does all the cutting, he does all the heavy lifting. I kind of assist in that. So I think that's the biggest challenge, is just making sure that I'm maintaining him busy, and then it's also making sure that his life is going well, because I want to keep him and I want to make sure that he can stay with my company. Right. So just showing him that there's plenty here now and there's a lot more coming soon, and making sure I'm staying true to that word is the biggest challenge. I'd say having an unexpected employee or an employee period is the biggest challenge, especially so early on in the business, because initially the focus was supposed to be about me, right. And it's not even a little bit. It's about inside out creations.
So you mean unexpected employee? What do you mean by
so,
asking?
Yeah, so when I started this, so if you can see, I'm a general contractor. I'm not just a painting contractor, and I gained a lot of experience on subcontracting when I was working my previous job doing project management. And this man, I'd known him from my first job. He used to work for one of my clients, and I actually did a day in the life of a painter once, so I got to work with him, Antonio. Right. And when I moved over to my previous job, I needed to hire some more painters because we were going to be working on a really large commercial project in the Portland building where it was 7 stories of a lot of painting, and so I needed to have about 6 guys. And this other guy he was working with wasn't keeping him busy enough, and so I hired him to work there. When I left to do my own thing, I was using him and a few other guys that I was working with on the side after their work hours.
Right.
But Antonio decided that he wasn't happy anymore with the person that took over my job, and even though I asked him several times to stay there because he had consistent work, and that was more important.
Right.
He decided, no, I'm gonna come work for you. I don't care if you don't have work. So, when somebody does something like that.
Yeah, it's a big investment in you, and that's showing that he believes in you and what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, especially after I asked him, don't quit your job to come work for me because I don't have work for you. But I have not let him down. He has work every single day. Sometimes he has more than enough work. Sometimes he actually got a little bit upset last week because he needed more help. Because I was keeping him so busy that he needed another person. And so this week we hired that second person, and he was with us all week, not today, and then he'll be with us again next week. So that's really exciting.
That's great. And I can tell you're really passionate about, caring for your employees and wanting to make sure that they have work. That's kind of the biggest shift that no one talks about being a business owner, right? Is, when you go to bed at night, you're worrying just about yourself, but now that you have inside out creations, you have to worry about multiple people, right? And so that's kind of a mindset shift that not a lot of people get to see, and I'm really glad you got to express that. So just a couple final things here. So what are the big goals for 2020? Let's talk about that. New decade coming up. We only got 3 months left this year. What's new for next year? What's 2020? What do you want the world to know?
Well, in 2020, I'm hoping that, no, not hoping, definitely will happen.
There we go.
I'm going to take, the summer by storm. I'm getting a van as soon as, work picks back up. I actually just got my first company vehicle last week.
Awesome.
But it's just a small car for, a little Subaru with a ladder rack, and it'll work for now.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest goal for next year is to have 2 in-house crews.
Okay.
5 people is the sweet spot for me. I think that'd be a manageable number. That's what I've done before. That's what I feel comfortable with, and then to subcontract after that. But really, I'd like to get more into just as a business, into getting in the mindset of trying to work with people who want more design with their painting, not just painting jobs. So I want to get into faux finishes, specialty finishes, and then also wallpapering. That's making a big comeback.
Yeah.
So really trying to just make the painting industry look prettier. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
I'm gonna have a flowery van.
I like it. You got to get your brand to stand out there. For sure. It's a very noisy world. So, but that's really exciting. So talk to me a little bit about how you heard about Tool Belt, how you think Tool Belt can help your business kind of grow into 2020.
Sure. Yeah, I think Tool Belt's great. I met Conrad a few weeks ago, and got to talking to him, and I had a great conversation with him. And then he followed up with me. We met up again so he could go over the app with me a little bit more.
Yeah.
I really like Tool Belt because it gives me the ability to talk or to reach out to other contractors. So I am a general contractor, and I sometimes get requests for things like fences and gutters.
Right.
Those aren't things that I do in-house, but I like that Tool Belt gives me that opportunity to find those people kind of, just on my phone.
Yeah.
There they are. And then it also lets other people find me. I've been applying to a few of the jobs here, and I've gotten some feedback from some people, and so that's been really great to see things are kind of starting to happen, since I got the app a few weeks ago.
Well, that's exciting. So, thank you so much for your time, Cecilia. I'm really glad that I got to hear your story. And I have a ton of faith that 2020 you're going to crush it.
Thanks. It was great being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.